Kaya, Kiji, Koling, Wongi Ni. I wish to declare this meeting open, first of all. Welcome to Coming and Going, Talking and Listening, Nunga name for our Shire's Administration Building. Nalak, Watich, Wadandi, Yanganjali, Wadandi Buja. I would like to acknowledge the Wadandi people, the traditional owners of Wadandi country. Kaya Kwaba Kiji, Jinang Nunya, Yalyara, Yarunga, Wadandi Buja. Hello, good to see you all together on Wadandi Buja. I'd like to move now to attendance. And I would like to make a special welcome to Brian Middleton as the Justice of the Peace, who will be overseeing the Deputy Shire President Declaration of Office this evening. So thank you for coming, Brian. I now move to 2.1 apologies, and there are none. And approved leave of absence, there is none. No, approved leave of absence. So item 3, disclosures of interest. I have received one written disclosure of interest from Councillor Earl. Who would you like to read it? Thank you.
It's on item 11.2.2, nature play. It's a proximity interest. I'm a neighbour on the block of land where the nature play is proposed.
Pioneer Park, yep. Thank you, Councillor Earl. Now move on to item 4, public questions, and 4.1, response to previous public questions taken on notice. There are none. And 4.2, public question time. Do I have any questions from the public? No? Okay, thank you. We will now move on to item 5, which is the election of the Deputy Shire President. So, councillors, I have received 2 nominations in advance of the meeting. Councillor Muir nominating herself, Councillor Keno nominating herself, Councillor Jones nominating Councillor Muir just recently. So I will now call for further nominations for position of Deputy Shire President. Are there any further nominations? And given that, just to clarify, given that Councillor Muir nominated herself and Councillor Keno nominated herself, I don't obviously need to confirm that with a response, so thank you. Claire is just preparing the nominations in the...
So they opened at 5:31 and they're closing at 5:32 for the nominations.
Okay, sorry, thank you. So, yeah, if there's no further nominations, I declare it, closed at 5:33. The elections will be conducted by a secret ballot. Authenticated ballot papers were distributed to, will be distributed in a... We've got them, have we?
We're just going to draw lots.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yep, sorry. Just drawing the lots now to show what position on the ballot paper will be, how it will look. Okay, so the first name is Keno, Councillor Keno. That will go first on the paper. And given that there's only 2 nominations, the next one will be Muir. So, once Claire's completed all the forms, the CEO will authenticate the ballot papers. So we'll just wait for that to occur. Yes, I will. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Or just the one. Okay, thank you. So the CEO's just authorised each ballot paper, and I advise that the election will be conducted by a secret ballot. So the governance officer shall distribute an authenticated ballot paper to each individual councillor. Councillors, you have the option to put a number 1 and a 2, or just a number 1 on the ballot paper. Yes, you can ask a question. Correct. Yep.
I was just going to ask that when the results are announced, that the whether or not it was a requirement that the number of votes was necessary, or whether we just announce who the winner of the vote was. And I'm asking that because my preference is that we just announce the winner and not the number of votes.
We'll just have clarification on that. Thank you. We're just going to have that clarified. We'll continue with the process, but we will have that clarified before that happens. So, okay, councillors, so if you can all please complete your ballot papers. Okay, that's everyone's placed their vote in. Thank you, councillors. I will now adjourn the meeting to allow the votes to be counted. The votes will be counted by the Governance and Risk Officer and the Justice of the Peace, Brian Middleton. Councillors, I reconvene the meeting at 5:47 p.m. And I announce that Councillor Muir has been elected as Deputy Shire President, and under Local Government Regulation 80, Clause 5, I do need to declare the number of first preference votes, and the vote count was 5-3. Congratulations, Councillor Muir. Councillors, now I ask the Deputy Shire President to come forward and please make your declaration of office before Brian Middleton. Thanks, Claire. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Congratulations,
Thank you very much.
Councillor Muir. I'd just like to take this moment to thank you very much for your attendance this evening, Brian. Thank you so much. Councillors, we'll now move on to item 5.1, applications for leave of absence. Do I have any applications for leave of absence?
Yes, Madam President. I seek leave of absence for the meetings on 26 June and 24 July.
Could I have a councillor to move that? I'm assuming you're moving that, Councillor Boland. And a seconder, Councillor Muir. Do you wish to speak? No. Okay, let's put that to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? That's carried 8-0. Thank you. Are there any other applications for leave of absence from any other councillors? Okay. We now move to item 6, confirmation of minutes of previous meeting. 6.1, the ordinary council meeting held on the 27th of March. Do I have a councillor to move that motion in front of us, please? Councillor Muir and Councillor Binks, seconded. Councillor Muir? Councillor Binks? No, let's put that to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? That's 8-0. Thank you. We now move on to deputations, and I believe we have one deputation. 7.1, Teo Burton, item 11.2.1, leisure plan reporting for final adoption. Is Teo present? No.
Sorry. Through the chair, just
Okay, thank you. Therefore, there are no deputations. Item 8 is petitions. I don't believe we have any councillors And 9 announcements from presiding member. So the WSL 2024 Pro was a great success, and Main Break really turned it on with great waves on Sunday for the final, with our local Jack Robinson taking out the prize. It was a great result. Arthur and I recently completed the Augusta Main Street walk. We heard plenty of comments around the preferences for the Augusta Main Street scape design, and I'm looking forward to seeing the recommendations when that consultation process has completed. As you have been notified in our media statement, the CEO and I recently had the opportunity to meet with Minister Punch and Premier Cook to highlight the major issues that our community is facing and to advocate for urgent and sustained Shire support. And we were very grateful for Jane Kelsby in enabling that to occur. Housing, short and long-term investment in the Lewin Naturalist National Park and funding social support services were the key topics that we raised within that 32 maybe minutes that we had. The CEO and I also attended the Walga Zone meeting last Friday in Donnybrook. The zone considered and passed our motion around the changes in the camping and caravan regs to allow some greater flexibility in the ability to utilise transportable forms of housing to help address our housing crisis. So the zone was very supportive of that. Myself, the CEO, Chair of MRBTA, Stuart Hicks, and CEO Shana Carney also recently met to discuss the next steps for advocating to the state for real action on the Brownup Forest Recovery Plan, otherwise known as the 6-point plan. Jane Kelsby is going to assist us to knock on doors and take our updated plan to politicians in power in Perth in due course. Recently at Nala Bardip Maya, our Shire was honoured to welcome a visit from Bell Shakespeare Group. They conduct one regional visit per year and travel with staff in management and philanthropic contributors, and Margaret River was selected this year. Peter Evans, the Artistic Director, and Gil Perkins, Executive Director, were welcomed by staff and attendees on that evening. On this Saturday, the 27th of April, The Other Side of Me by Gary Lang NT Dance Company, tour produced by Black Dance, is a dance duet with a new angle on the stolen generations. Is coming to Nala Bardip Maya, and I encourage you to attend. That's this Saturday. Recently, our community was shocked at the news of the passing of one of our most consuming, passionate Margaret River locals, Ian Parmenter. On behalf of Council, our condolences extend to family and friends of Ian. And finally, tonight marks the last meeting for Councillor Paula Cristofanini. Paula has contributed so greatly to our council and the community, and we thank you for your 4.5 years of service, and we wish you all the best for your future. So on behalf of council, we have a certificate of recognition and also a card and something else. Councillors, we now move on to item 10, questions from members, of which due notice has been given, and there are none. So therefore on to item 11, reports of committees and officer reports. The first item under this is 11.2.1, leisure plan reporting for final adoption. Councillors, we have an officer recommendation there on the screen. Do I have a councillor to move that recommendation, please? Councillor Earl and Councillor Muir to second. Councillor Earl.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I very much support this. So I guess if any of you get to wander around on a Saturday or a Sunday around this place out here or in Kawarama, and then I'd have to say it's particularly in this end of the Shire, you'll just see how many kids there are out there, and that we do have a deficit of change rooms and facilities for people. And I think one of the big growths over the last few years has been the growth of women in the outdoor sport, into the football and the soccer and all the likes, and some of the numbers out there are actually fantastic, if not a little scary, of the people, the kids and others who are coming forward to play our grass sports and other sports around the place. But it's certainly incumbent on us as councillors and a council to put aside the money to make sure we can upgrade and increase what we've got, so all these people and across so many ages can actually use these good grounds but have decent facilities with them. So while all of us in the community probably like to see some of this all happen a little bit earlier, but there is a process to go through to make sure we get there with it. But I sort of too look forward to seeing some of these things get picked off and get on with it, because they're telling us we're at 17 or 18,000. I expect we're over 20, and we're rapidly running towards 30,000 people. And in my time on council, we've only effectively brought 2 new grass grounds on, and the synthetic for the hockey, and we've probably grown 5,000 or 6,000 people in that time. So, and when you look at the stats in Quarrama and Margaret River, the average age is about 38. You go to Augusta and it's nearly twice that. But there's certainly the growth is in this end of the woods. We'd like to see some growth in Augusta, but there are a lot of kids, and you only have to look around out here and across here on any day like tonight and just see how many there are out there. So yeah, we as a council, we just need to prepare to find the money, put it aside, get it, and let the staff get on with producing what we need. Thank you.
Councillor Muir.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate the staff on such a comprehensive plan, and it's been fantastic to hear directly from some of the groups about what they require and I guess how they experience the different facilities. I think it's really important that we have a long-term strategic plan and that we can actually leverage state funding and department funding that is out there, and I really hope that into the future we do get more here in a regional area and that we can advocate more strongly for that. So thank you.
Does any councillor wish to speak against this or for this item? No, they'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Next item is 11.2.2, consideration of South West Cape's Lions proposal for nature play in Pioneer Park, Quarrama. We have a declaration from Councillor Earl, which is a...
I'll read this out.
Okay, CEO is going to read this out.
Councillor Earl has declared a proximity interest in relation to this item 11.2.2, nature play. The details of the declaration is Councillor Earl is a neighbour of the park where the nature play is proposed.
Thank you, CEO. So, councillors, we have a motion here in front of us. Do I have a councillor to move that? Officer recommendation. Councillor Christofanini, and a seconder. Councillor Binks. Councillor Christofanini.
This is a very interesting matter for council to consider. We've heard from our community, and we've heard from the community as what they wish. But we as councillors need to take many things into account when we hear from the community and we consider the infrastructure that we need. We have a very varied community. We have very many settlements. And as we just heard, it is important for us to give our POSs, to think about our POSs and where they should be in the bigger context. And that's why we had a leisure strategy. This it's been something that has exercised our minds, and we have asked and sought our Shire administration information from them. We've given it a great deal of consideration. Many options have been considered in arriving at this, and I think this is a very considered response to what is a tricky thing. Of course, we would like to give everyone whatever they ask, but this is a good outcome, I think, for the area, and one that fits in with our responsibilities and with our plans.
Thank you. Councillor Binks.
Thank you, Shire President. I am, whilst I've seconded it, I think it's important to get things on the table so that we can discuss or debate as a council. I will be opposing the officer's recommendation, and I'd like to foreshadow an alternate motion. Do you wish me to read the alternate motion at this point?
Yes, please, for council's information, yep.
The alternate motion reads that council requests the CEO to further the development of a nature play facility in Reserve 22636 Pioneer Park, Kawarramup, in conjunction with the Southwest Capes Lions and in alignment with the renewal of the existing play equipment in the park by, number one, undertaking a detailed evaluation of the cost-benefit of this location and timing, including costing the associated infrastructure required to deliver an accessible nature play facility in this location. Number two, further progressing security over funding for the facility and associated works in conjunction with the Southwest Capes Lions. Number three, reports the findings of funding opportunities and the cost-benefit analysis to council to enable a formal decision on budgeting and progressing the proposed nature play facility and associated infrastructure.
Thank you.
Okay, now
You can speak to the motion on the table, please.
Yeah, thank you. What I would like to say, and if I get the opportunity to speak to the alternate motion, is that we need as much as possible as a council to be as informed as possible, to have the opportunity to walk around, get our feet muddy and wet, to give our staff the opportunity to crunch numbers and to give us as much qualitative information as possible. So this alternate motion, and thank you to Mr. Logan for preparing that or helping me with that, is to provide the opportunity for further due diligence or information gathering. The officer's recommendation is actually in conflict with our current POS strategy, and that raises questions for me that I need answered. So I will be moving this motion if this receives, or if councillors, you agree that we would like to explore further information with regard to this. I don't think there's anything else I need to say at this point in time, so I'd seek your support for that when the time comes, if it comes. Thanks.
Okay, councillors, in regards to the motion that is in front of the screen here, do I have anyone who wishes to speak for or against this motion, the officer's recommendation? No? Then Councillor Christofanini, you can have right of reply.
Okay. The Kawarramup Hall Playground is on the cards to be renewed. So I think the recommendation that we've got before us provides a very good solution to proceed with that improvement of a playground that is in existence and is in need of renewal. And that renewal, if we go ahead with this, if we accept this motion that is being put forward.
I'm sorry, Councillor Christofanini. Are you calling a point of order?
Yes, I am. Thanks.
And what's that?
This is the right of reply. It's not for the introduction of any new information.
Is the information in the report?
The information is in the report.
So I think that's already considered information if it's in the report. So
that's correct.
yeah.
So But this is a right of reply, it's not the opportunity to
It's a right of reply,
revisit it
yeah, in
again.
regards to reinforcing the officer's recommendation, so. And if it's not new information, then it's okay. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Is countering the objection to this. And so I think this provides a very good solution to proceed with the renewal of the playground and incorporate into it elements of nature playground to actually support what the community has come to us to ask for us. So I do think that this recommendation gives us the best of both worlds, to stick to our plans and also hear the community and respond to the community's request.
Thank you. Now, councillors, that closes the debate, so I'll put this item to the vote. All those in favour? That is carried 7 and councillor Binks against. 7-4, councillor Binks against.
7-4. Can't be 7-4.
7-1, sorry, I meant to say. 6-1, 6-1.
Because Councillor Earl is near.
Excuse me, yes, I can't count. Okay, we'll just call councillor Earl back into the room. Councillor Earl, that motion, officer's recommendation was passed 6-1. Councillors, we now move on to item 11.2.3, IPQS 012401 Storm Damage Pickup Services. I have an officer recommendation there on the screen. Do I have a councillor to move that, please? Councillor Keno? Councillor Boland? Councillor Keno? Councillor Boland?
The only comment was that I did speak to administration today, and just the format of the report. It may be that the format of the confidential report has been amended. It was just in terms of reading the report and cross-referencing the successful tenderers with the respondent A, B, D, E, F, H, I, respectively. So possibly.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. I think that was an administrative correction that would be clarified in the minutes. You've alerted that to the staff. That was my understanding. Is that correct? Mr. Logan?
Through the chair, yes, that's correct.
Great. Thank you. Thanks.
I just continue that. I was
Yes, please,
supportive
yeah.
of the report. It
Yes.
was just the reading of it and just the cross-referencing, just to make for ease of reference. And so if that's been corrected, that's very good, and I'm very happy to second this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors that wishes to speak against or for this item? We'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? It's carried 8-0. Thank you. 11.3.1, notes of councillor information sessions from the 1st of January 24 to the 31st of March 24. Councillor to move that officer recommendation, please. Councillor Boland, Councillor Muir. Councillor Boland. Councillor Muir. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0, thank you. 11.3.2, list of payments for March 2024. Have an officer recommendation there. Councillor Cristofanini to move that. Councillor, someone to second. Councillor Earl, thank you. Councillor Cristofanini. Councillor Earl. Let's put that to the vote. Councillors, all those in favour? 8-0, thank you. Next item is 11.3.3, the Shire submission in relation to standardised meeting procedure. I have an officer's recommendation. Could I have a councillor to move that, please? Councillor Boland and Councillor Binks. Thank you. Councillor Boland.
Yes. I'm happy to move this recommendation, but I will foreshadow that I believe that there probably should be two changes to our recommendations in the consultation
Okay.
report.
I'm happy. So I think they're amendments, Councillor Boland. So what I suggest is that we move one amendment at a time. Are you happy to accept that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's move 3, which is in front of us first here, which is that the recommendation attachment relating to 3 urgent business be deleted and replaced with the following text: urgent business not supported. This requirement should place an additional administrative burden on local governments with little or no benefit being gained. So if that's correct, you'll need a seconder for that amendment. Yep, Councillor Cristofanini. Okay, so Councillor Boland, do you wish to speak to that amendment?
Yes, I'll speak briefly to that one. It was just that when we discussed it, and there's a whole lot in this recommendation for standardised procedures, which I think are a good thing, because it can vary from place to place and can be a bit confusing, and for members of the public who may go to 2 different meetings or 3 or whatever. So it would be good for standardised procedures throughout the state. But this is coming about from a state government suggestion about procedures to be adopted. It's quite complex, actually. There's the paper that the department's put out, and then we've got comments from Morga, and then our administration's made some comments, and then yes.
We're particularly referring to the urgent business amendment in this
yes.
one,
So
aren't you? Yep.
It was just that when we discussed that, the government is asking for any time that urgent business is dealt with to be reported to the department, and that would seem to be an unnecessary administrative burden for little or no benefit. I think that was the outcome of our discussion.
Yep, it's pretty...
In our submission, we've posed a question, but I think it's probably better if we actually take that question out and put forward our position. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. Councillor Cristofanini?
Yes, I think that makes it very clear to make our position clear. I think these 2 foreshadowed amendments go to that. And I think that's, let's say what we mean.
Great. Does any councillor wish to speak against this this amendment here? Well, let's, unless you feel the need, you don't need a reply if there's no one speaking against it. So let's put that to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, so that now becomes part of the substantive motion, but we also have another amendment. Councillor Boland, you'd like to move that?
Not as per what's in front of us now. I did send something around yesterday, and then Mr. McLeod, our in-house lawyer, proposed something different, which is what's in front of us. But
so sorry, is the text in front of us the amendment or not?
Not the amendment I want to move. No.
Oh, okay. So you'll need to modify that. So if you could please explain that text to the minute taker, and then we'll be able to discuss it.
Yes, it would be that our submission, and I understand this may not be accepted, seconded, just so we can discuss it, and which...
If you can just read, maybe provide the words, thank you.
Our submission is that we are in agreement with the regulations proposed to require council members to provide written notice of motions at least 1 calendar week before the council meeting commences. So I have that in writing.
If you want to provide that to Clara, that would be great, and then she can type that up, and then we'll discuss it.
Yeah. It was in our discussion paper.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll just get it on the screen so we're all clear about what the amendment is before we proceed. Thank you.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that is notice of motions after 10, maybe? Yep. So in regards to item 10, notice of motions, be deleted and replaced with the following text. 10, notice of motions. Regulations are proposed to require council members to provide written notice of motion at least 1 calendar week before the council meeting commences. This would generally allow these motions to be included in the meeting agenda, which must be published 72 hours before the commencement of the meeting. So, sorry, can you just clarify what...
Could I adjust that slightly? I think probably should begin with support for regulations that are proposed.
Support for regulations. Yep. Okay. And so, sorry, Councillor Boland, can you just clarify what the current number 10 is in the submission, please?
I might need my paperwork back.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep, that's okay. so we know what the difference is. Thanks, we're clear.
We have said, we haven't adopted a position. That was why I particularly picked up on
That's
it.
okay, but if you could read it out, maybe.
Um,
Oh, so no, well, don't worry about it, actually. If there's no position in there that we've stated in regards to that item 10, then this is effectively a new suggestion. Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Essentially.
That's okay, you can speak to it. So we've got you moving it. Councillor Christofanini confirming that you move that amendment or not?
Second.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Thank you,
Yes.
Councillor Boland. If you could speak to this amendment, please.
Yes, what we did
Councillor Earl, sorry, is that a point of order? Or?
Point of order, thanks. Is this replacing what we would normally have as a notice of motion that's at this meeting that comes in for the next meeting? Is that what this is replacing?
Well, I think Councillor Boland's just going to explain it. If he can talk to the amendment.
Before he explains it, I actually like to know what this is. Is our intent, when we're sending this through to the government, that this is replacing, say, like the motion that you put up last week that's now coming up this week, is that replacing that so people can put these up 72 hours prior to the meeting?
Can we have advice, please, someone? Sorry, Clara, did you just have the table? Yeah. Could you just, if you could get the table, yes, okay, let's look at here, okay. So, this is our submission that says, so on the left here, Councillor Earl. That's the government's position. So the no proposed changes is what we think. So we've written in the red there, not supported. So our submission on this change has not been supported by staff. So Councillor Boland has put in an amendment to the rest of the submission, and that's why we're treating it on its own, to test an alternative position, which is to support it. Is that correct, Councillor Boland?
essentially, yes.
Okay, thank you. So are you clear on that, Councillor Earl? So the government... Oh, it's just exactly what's written on front of the screen when we get back to it, when we're looking at... yeah, there we go. So this is the proposed change that the government is proposing. Okay, there on the left, regulations are proposed to require council members to provide written notice of motions at least 1 calendar week before the council meeting commences. This would generally allow these motions to be included in the meeting agenda, which must be published 72 hours before the commencement of the meeting. Now, that's a proposed change. So what we want to clarify is what we currently do. Is that right? How it's different from how we currently operate. Is that correct? Councillor Earl?
But the headline, the heading in that, if you take that across, this says motions and whatever it says. It doesn't say notices of motions, but it seems to be talking about notices of motions. We want to be pedantic about the words that we're putting in here. The heading in the grey...
It is about notice of motions, my understanding. It's within the text there on the table, if we can just...
But
okay.
item 10 is motions and amendments. It's not notices of motions and amendments. Quite frankly, you haven't had enough time to...
So currently, if you just look in that current procedure file there, Councillor Earl, it says councillor gives a notice of motion at an OCM. You're correct, like I did with, for example, the illegal camping motion. So that motion is then considered at the following OCM. So this allows for the inclusion in the agenda for officers' comments to be provided.
So this will change. This will change our.
Yeah.
The motion itself gets considered at the OCM, so I think we could support it. It's only the notice.
Okay, I'm just going to allow Councillor Boland to briefly explain the intent. Yes, let's speak to the amendment, please,
Okay.
so we can get some clarity.
Yeah.
Thanks, Councillor
So
Boland.
just going back to the officer recommendation that we've got in front of us, we're saying that we're responding to the consultation paper, and the reason for doing it this meeting is that there's a timeline of putting things into Walga by the 29th of April and the department by the 29th of May. So we're dealing with it now. And, you know, I'm not going to die in a ditch over this. This is something that's, we're not actually making the decision. We are just saying this is our thoughts on the consultation paper that's out. And our thoughts, I didn't think were well articulated in there, just saying not supported and that's not enough time. I think you need to, it'd be better to be saying, well, we think the appropriate time frame is whatever, 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 days before the agenda is issued, or whatever. So my personal view is that the what was put out by the government was appropriate, quite clear, 1 week before. Our current standing orders make it, it's almost the same. It's 5 clear working days, which works out roughly the same. So pretty much as we are in line with what the government is proposing, but we're saying something different in our submission by not supporting it. What are we supporting? Do we think it should, do people think it should be longer? We can actually leave what's there probably if people are happy enough with that, just have that as our response. It just isn't much of a response, and I think it'd be better for us to be clear that it's one week before the council meeting. So
Okay, so
up for grabs.
all right, thank you, Councillor Boland.
We don't need to, probably don't need to spend a lot of time on it.
Okay.
And like I say, it's not a decision
Mike,
we're making.
we're live streaming. So,
Yeah,
oh, you've
sorry.
got it on?
It's not
Sorry,
a decision we're making.
Yes.
It's just our contribution to the debate.
Yeah. It'll become part of the substantive motion. So, Councillor Christofanini, do you wish to speak?
I mean, in essence, what we're doing here is to support the proposal. And I think that would be the simplest way of moving forward, because we're supporting the time frame that is being put forward. I mean, I think that seems to be where we stand, and it's about notice of motions. It's not about the motions, so there is no need for the CEO to prepare a report. So I think I don't have an issue with supporting the motion. Whether we want to restate what the proposal is, by all means, seems reasonable. It's about giving councillors a chance to think about it and be aware that there is a proposal coming.
Okay, thank you. Do I have anyone who wishes to speak for or against this amendment? Yeah, I'll just say something briefly. From my understanding, it's exactly that. It's actually about having some prescription in there, which is what we're supporting. So I guess everyone's standing orders, procedures are different, and this is actually providing a standard, procedure for it. So I'm supportive of this amendment. If there's no one who wishes to speak against it, we'll put it to the vote. Those in favour of this amendment? That's carried 8-0. Thank you. So that now becomes part of the substantive motion.
That becomes part of our proposal.
Correct.
Our submission.
Yeah. The amended, so it's been amended twice, right? We've dealt with the first one and now we've dealt with this one, and they have now both become part of that, the primary motion. So, Councillor Boland, you moved. So you haven't actually spoken to the primary motion if you wish to do so.
I think I spoke briefly at the beginning.
Okay.
I think it'd be a good idea if there are
Okay, you
standardised
have. All right.
procedures. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Christofanini?
Thank you. This just clarifies what us.
Oh, sorry.
Councillor Banks moved the substantive motion.
I was looking at the screen and it was wrong. So, Councillor Binks, thank you.
No, I don't need to speak to this, thank you.
Okay, councillors, is there anyone who wishes to speak against this substantive motion or for it? Let's put it to the vote then. All those in favour? That is 8-0 carried. Thank you very much. Okay, councillors, we now are dealing with 11.3.4, which is the revenue diversification project formation. We have a motion there on the screen, an officer recommendation. Do I have a councillor to move this? Councillor Muir, and a seconder, Councillor Jones. Councillor Muir.
I'm really excited to see this come to us, and we know that our Shire has a number of complex needs, infrastructure with a really fast growing population and tourism. So I look forward to seeing how we can supplement our income and ensure the sustainability of our community and environment. So thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Muir. Councillor Jones, do you wish to speak to it? Does any other councillor wish to speak for or against this? Councillor Earl.
Yeah, thank you. I'll speak in favour. I think it's probably not before time that we're trying to move down the road of trying to find other sources of income because, as was mentioned before, you know, we are a rapidly growing shire with lots of pressure on us. While we've got some money in the bank at the moment that will not last with the amount of work that needs to be done out there, and the pressures continue to grow. So we actually need to find other sources of income one way or another, and how that may work or how that is, I guess we will see when the group comes back to some stage. But there is a significant need for us in the Shire. Otherwise, our poor old ratepayers are just going to continue to get belted.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak for or against this? I'll just conclude in saying I support this motion. I think we absolutely need to look at optimising our current revenue streams and think innovatively and creatively on, and really investigate where we can have some opportunities in the face of, you know, needing to, absolutely optimise the opportunities. So I support this. Let's put it to the vote. Councillors, all those in favour? That's carried 8-0. Thank you. Councillors, we now deal with item 12, which is motions from members of which previous notice has been given from myself, 12.1 at the previous meeting on the 27th of March in regards to illegal camping. Now, I'll just have a look at that in front of us here. I will move that motion. Do I have a councillor to second it? Councillor Binks? And Councillor Christofanini, would you like to foreshadow an amendment? Okay, I was just going to ask Councillor Christofanini, is this in regards to the word business case? Correct. Because we could deal with it just as an administrative correction and incorporates the feasibility and cost benefit analysis. So just 2 words, yeah. So if you're happy to accept that as an administrative correction, we'll just we'll deal with the motion unless, We'll just allow Clara to change that text, incorporates the feasibility, so cross out a business case. Oh, A incorporates a, sorry, my apologies, a feasibility and cost benefit analysis. Okay, councillors. So I think we're all fairly across what this motion's all about, and I feel that it's time that we really put some resources towards this, one of these critical issues in our Shire. So, I don't feel like I need to speak too much for it. Councillor Binks, would you like to speak to this?
I'm going to reserve my right to speak to it.
Okay. Is there any other councillor who wishes to speak against or for this motion? Councillor Boland? Of establishing or on establishing? Yep, sure, accepted. Do you wish to speak to this item? No, is there any other councillor? Councillor Binks.
Yeah, I'm going to exercise my right to speak to the item. Listen, I am always in favour of collaborating, and I think you always get better solutions. So for us to invite the City of Bustleton to participate in this project is terrific. And I think hopefully we'll come up with something that is meaningful and implementable.
Thank you. Sorry, we'll reserve the right to just add something in. I think it's quite imperative, the timing of this report back to council, in that we would have had quite a thorough analysis on what the options that council may or may not choose to take before next summer. So, okay, let's put that to the vote. Oh, sorry.
I just don't think it reads very well. I'm totally in favour of what we're doing, but just this is going to be quite a significant.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just see what I mean?
Yep.
Site. It's just
A site
Or
alludes
site.
to being one site, establishing a site for itinerant camping within the wider AMR Shire holiday parks and caravan camping grounds vision and strategy renewal.
because it may be.
Well,
Augusta,
if you are suggesting an amendment for potential sites, that's quite different than a site. So,
Can I say this?
yeah, just allow the CEO to provide some advice. Thanks, councillors.
Councillor Bolnett, I appreciate your attempts to get this spot on, but let's leave it up to the feasibility study to come back with options. It may be a site, it may be various sites. I don't think we're locked into one. I know this says a site, but I think if we take this as the start of the process, and we're not going to be confined with one site, we'll be confined with coming up with a number of ideas or strategies or locations, if that's the case. I'm easy with the wording, but it's up to you.
Okay, final call. Does anyone else wish to speak for this who hasn't already? Let's put it to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? That's 8-0, carried unanimously. Thanks. Okay, item 13 is motions for consideration at next meeting. There are none. 14, new business of an urgent nature. There is none from members or CEO. 15, confidential business. There is none. So I therefore close the meeting at 6:36 p.m. Thank you all for your attendance.